started in 1913. Well,
didn't they say in like the book of Revelations that like for an entire day's wage would be cost of one loaf of bread? So I'm not saying we're there yet, but man, at this rate, how much longer?
they try to convince us that it's a normal thing that every economy experiences. And the craziest part is that a year before, in 1912, when talks about forming the Federal Reserve were going on, there were three prominent bankers who strongly opposed its formation: John Jacob Astor IV, Isidor Strass, and Benjamin Guggenheim, who were setting sail across the Atlantic to America in discussion of the Federal Reserve on a ship owned by J.P. Morgan, who was in favor of the Fed and was supposed to join them on their journey, but backed out last second. That ship that set sail was the Titanic, which sank, and those three bankers perished, finalizing the creation of the Federal Reserve that controls all of your money. If anyone ever asks who they are, well, this is exactly who. 1913 in a nutshell. And if you want to create your own apps that filter past the censorship of big tech search engines, or just about any other app idea you can come up with, try out Emergent for an easy way for you and I to seek the truth.
All right, let's see what he's got here. He's got some juicer. Okay, all-in-one juicer. He's got some electric knife. Oh wow, so it vibrates and charges. That's cheating. Okay, he's got this baby garbage bag. I don't know who's gonna get that much garbage. Okay, it looks like some type of filter that goes out of air. A water generator. That's new.
Fresh drinking water per day just using moisture from the air, which I had no idea was possible. This is my countertop garden that grows different types of microgreens, water them every 90 minutes, and they're ready to eat in under 7 days.
I would have straight cilantro. Go back to it. That's a pretty cool idea. I would have nothing but cilantro going there because I'd be tearing some salsa up, man. You guys want to know the secret salsa recipe? If you ever tried to make some salsa, you need not regular jalapenos, pickled jalapenos. That's the secret when you make your salsa. Get crushed.
At Lee Summit Honda, we don't just sell.
Hendrick.
Good afternoon. My name is Jordan. Oh, my name is Joe.
Ethan, your preserve, the misleading naming of which was actually very intentional. So what the NHL it up and how they try to
Types of microgreens.
Jalapeno. Man, I'll put nothing but cilantro. It almost feels like they're cheap. With a little bit of chop it up yourself, but crushed. Not regular jalapenos, pickled jalapenos. That's the secret when you make your salsa. Get crushed, sliced tomatoes in the can. You can flame it and chop it up yourself. But if you're in a rush, you can just get you a can, some cilantro, and some onions. Man, you blend that all together with a little bit of salt. Man, you'll never buy salsa again. That's why I'm looking at this like, man, I'll put nothing but cilantro up there.
Serve them every 90 minutes, and they're ready to eat in under 7 days. This rice maker has a built-in scale which it uses to automatically dispense the right amount of water and even lets me steam veggies at the same time. This Tupperware.
Wow. That rice maker's next level. It almost feels like they're cheap. It automatically levels the water for you. How amazing. Oh, Tupperware vacuum. Marshmallows. Compact juicer. Okay. Use that stuff there. That's great. Soil, by the way. That stuff over there. I'm trying to figure out what is this thing right here. It's ultraviolet portable drink stand. What is it? Charging the drink up with ion?
I've never seen that. Oh my God. It's so cool to see a new one. See it? Yeah, I've not seen it before. Usually all orange. Or orange and a little green. Yeah. I've never seen it.
Just seeing one hummingbird is pretty amazing. You got a whole festival. Hummingbird festival. Man, you know they love it. For them to be able to spot one, I think they're probably talking about that one, that yellow one. They're like, man, have you seen that yellow one? We ain't seen that one before. This is lit. Sitting on your porch watching birds. I bet you that's good for their all types of bugs and insects all around them. Very beneficial if you ask me. I wouldn't mind trying to plant some butterflies. I tried last year, man, but I don't know if I didn't plant it deep enough or what. It died. Try again, doing some more butterfly plants. But while it was alive, I saw more hummingbirds get attracted to my butterfly plants than actual butterflies. I don't know if like the hummingbirds like the nectar on it or what. That's all we got for today's video. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps your boy out, helps get this into more like-minded people, and go ahead and drop the code word in the comments below. Today's code word is hidden history. Go ahead and drop hidden history in the comments below. When you do that, that lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way to the end of the video and you really rock with me. And I'll be reading the comments, all you guys saying, you know, extremely generous stuff. And I just want to say thank you so much. You know, you guys are so extreme.
The second you know your dream is protected. And then...
Is everything okay? The police have been dispatched?
well, you still do.
Oh.
Now, we all know that long-term possession can happen, but what about temporary possession?
We're too focused on aliens and UFOs under the term disclosure.
Yeah, it is really smoggy. Never seen it this bad up here. It's thick.
Is Canada, haven't you guys heard of Smokey the Bear?
All right, if you think that these forest fires that are happening in Northern Ontario right now are organic, just an act of God, then you are exactly where they want you to be. And I'm going to show you what's really going on right now.
And check out this image, I believe is in New York, of how the smog is just covering the sun and it's got that bright red. Oh man, can you imagine going down a ride yelling? In today's video, we will be reacting to mysterious and strange videos on the internet no one can explain. Hit that like and subscribe button as we dive through these videos and try to make sense of all this madness.
Now, we all know that long-term possession can happen, but what about temporary possession? Because this lady was out celebrating her birthday with some friends and her boyfriend, and all of a sudden, as you can see in the video, her demeanor completely changed. Like if she was somebody totally different. And by the way, this did happen in Brazil, and I gotta admit, a lot of weird things been happening over there. I mean, just by looking at her face, does that really look normal to you? Was this some kind of a possession? Or with all the excitement, could it have been some kind of a psychotic episode?
Mas apaga a velhinha, amor, vai. Depois a gente canta de novo. Você tá assustando a gente, amor. Você tá bem? Eu tô com medo. Meu Deus, vou ter que chamar ele. Não, não, amor. Não, que isso, gente? Meu Deus, cara. Só que ele ajuda, gente. Gente, vai ter que chamar socorro.
Look at the people in the background. They like, she tripping.
Sei que ela tá tendo, ela tá com problema. Isso é normal? Meu Deus, gente.
And according to her, after everything that had happened that night, she could not remember anything. So could this be a real temporary possession, or is it something psychological?
I don't know, but she slowly started morphing into the Joker, didn't she?
You're too focused on aliens and UFOs under the term disclosure. Disclosure just simply means unveiling. I believe that we may see the government try to use disclosure and aliens and UFOs to distract us from the true disclosure that's coming, and that is God opening the eyes to the body of Christ, the true body, to see the spirit realm. These giants that you're talking about, they've sort of been in hiding. I would not be surprised if all of a sudden we see people sharing viral videos, clear images, not blurry images, clear images of Bigfoot, of dogmen, of monsters, of hideous things that we all only ever saw blurred pictures of. All of a sudden, they're clear, so clear that people realize that's got to be AI. That's got to be AI. That can't even be real. And then all of a sudden, one walks into a neighborhood. Starts ravaging the neighborhood. But we're all worried about that they come from other planets. But the enemy is going to know, hey, this is my last shot. I've held these beings back. I've been in hiding because I didn't want to be exposed. But I got one last generation. Why in the world would you preserve a giant in the mountain of Kandahar, Afghanistan, just to have a giant in a cave up there? He's just my pet. He's just, it's just a great story. No, listen, the devil, I hate him. I hate his guts. But he is very cunning and very sinister. And let me tell you something about the devil. Here's where the church messes up about the devil. We're all just like this. We want everything done like this. The devil is the long game. The devil plays the long game. So, in my opinion, he's holding some of these things in these caves for such a time as this. And when the great disclosure comes, it's going to be so chaotic. Y'all, I'm not trying to scare everybody to death, because to the believer, we know this is coming. Jesus said to the disciples, listen, you don't get it. In fact, I'm telling you, how awesome is this? He's like, I'm telling you, I'm answering your question, but I am really not answering it for you. Let that sink in. I'm answering. You asked the question right here in front of me, friend to friend. You asked me. And my answer is for you so that you can write it down. But it's not for you. The answer that I'm going to give you to your question is for a generation that's going to exist thousands of years later. But I need you to hear me. How awesome is God that when he was speaking that as an answer to an actual question, he was thinking about us. We're too timeless.
You can manipulate the energy in somebody's body to make them feel a certain way. People do this unintentionally. Have you ever met somebody and you felt really uncomfortable around them? Well, they're subconsciously making you feel that way. You can on purpose do this. You can send somebody a message by changing the energy in their body, and they'll feel the message. You can manipulate the energy in somebody's body to make them feel a certain way.
I seen it on Avatar, Korra. It's called bloodbending. It's that time of the day again. If you thought I wasn't going to hit you with another excellent specimen today,
North winds, an upset for the ages.
So I would ask the board, what if our next app wasn't slow? What's this? Earn skills in weeks, not years. At University of Phoenix?
Oh yeah, I'm already programming.
Can you program a racing app?
Can you market a racing app?
Looks like I could learn.
Yes.
It's our company's most downloaded app.
Ever.
Earn career relevant skills in weeks, not years. At University of Phoenix.
I would say that G Fiber gives you the stress-free home that we all look for in life.
Once I joined Google Fiber, I never had to worry about any internet service. I lost my heat, my water, but I was still on work calls. I never lost my internet.
footage that shows the massive smoke from the wild.
No. No.
No.
That's a good one.
Bye.
This image, I believe, is in New York of how the smog is just covering the sun and it's got that bright red. Does it remind you of anything? Mordor from Lord of the Rings, guys. How crazy is this? But what I'm trying to figure out is how did all this get started in the first place? What is going on? It almost feels like this is the third year in a row that this has happened. Is Canada, haven't you guys heard of Smokey the Bear? Only you. You guys remember those commercials with Smokey the Bear? Don't y'all watch that over there? Because if you really start thinking about it, the heat, it's already really hot outside. There's no telling what's really going on in our air. If you know, you know what they doing up there. And on top of this, this is like a mix of something terrible swirling all together. And you know, people got to go out and work it out inside this, man. Shout out to everyone that has to go out and, you know, actually work, that don't have a choice. Look, you can barely see. And people got to go out and work out inside this construction. Even if you got a desk job, you got to go walk out to your car. Look, it's like the entire northern half of the United States getting affected. This is in Buffalo. This is the excellent footage. You can really see, hear what's going on. Just to how smoky it is.
Now, see the sun kind of peeking through right there. Wow.
Guys, look at how the sun was red. Look, that's not a normal red. That's a bright red.
Right there. Wow. I lost it. It's right here on the bed. Yeah. No. Tornado. Behind us. Yeah, look at this. Go on there. There's hoping the animals are getting out of there safely. Now the sun's exposing itself. Yeah.
I mean, look at Cedar Point for crying out loud.
What's the most efficient way to feed your workplace? That's easy. EasyCater, the workplace food platform. Easy, efficient, delicious. Start an order at easycater.com.
Fresh for tea, jam, syrup, dry them for later. Okay. Yeah, I knew about the tea. I can't wait. Because, see, I seen CC do this last year. I'm going to get these. I'll get these off. Okay. And that could be a harvest. Okay, so should I pull these tomatoes, y'all? I should just pull them and start over, right?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Smoking gun in his Draco the Ruler case. And YG, I'm sorry, bro, you going to jail. In a song called We Know the Truth, when YG is addressing the rumors that he got Draco the Ruler killed at the Once Upon a Time festival, YG denied it, and he says, I wasn't worried about Draco. Slim 400 just died. I was worried about Slim. He also says, I came to get the dough. I was finna hit the stage. Then I heard how y'all heard somebody got hit with a blade. I was nowhere around. I ain't have nothing to do with this. Why are you guys blaming it on me? YG even says that, yo, they say I murdered this, they say I murdered that. Well, if that's true, then you be a snitch and I'd be sleeping in a cell on a rack. But too bad that ain't true. Okay, well, hey, listen, man. YG, sir, you got to speaking too soon. Okay, you underestimated how committed people are to bringing Draco justice. Since YG has dropped that song, law enforcement has detained YG, executing a search warrant for Draco the Ruler's murder. And we now have a deposition from Draco's security guard identifying YG at the scene. Now, listen very closely to what this security guard just said, because the piece of information we have lines everything up and catches YG in 4K.
Draco, and they let us go. They would then ask him what the 10 to 12 people were wearing, and he would say a lot of red shirts, red jackets, red ski masks, red gloves, red shoes, just everything. And he would tell them they weren't only just wearing red, they were throwing up gang signs with their hands. And he would notice that they were throwing up the B. And he would explain that they were all taking pictures and that there was a cameraman that was standing behind the cars, just taking pictures. And he would say he was watching his surroundings because he knew everybody knew Draco's vehicle. They would then ask him, when he observed the individuals in the van, was it his understanding that that was YG's crew? And he would respond and say yes. They would ask him, entourage or group? And he would say, yes, I saw YG. He was in front of everybody taking a picture, as if the group was standing behind him and he was singled out in the front. They then asked him what was YG wearing, and he would tell them a black ski mask, black shiny jacket, black pants with a red stripe going down the side, and black shiny shoes. They would then ask, so the other guys were wearing red, correct?
I think PlayHop is for kids, but let me prove you wrong. There are many different types of games on PlayHop, such as simulators, puzzles, arcades, sports. Basically, there's something for everyone. My favorite games are strategies with multiplier gates, because there's nothing more satisfying than watching your army grow from 1 to 1,000,000. For real, PlayHop has more than 20,000 games for you to discover, so you'll never get bored, and it's a great way to connect with new and old friends. So what are you waiting for? Play now for free.
All right, guys, it's time to go search the papers. I want to take a quick minute and show you some of the tools of the trade, things that we need every day out in the field process serving. We'll start off, of course, you need your pen notepad. It's even better when it's got your logo on there. So if I come across a new customer, I can always pass this out to them. Body camera, definitely something you need. It just helps prove that individuals were served that I say were served. And so if I ever get called to court, this definitely comes in handy. Flashlight, I can't tell you a number of times it's saved me from dogs, especially out in the rural county and rural country. At night, you don't want to be caught without a flashlight. And then I carry my gun with me as well, just for my personal safety. And this is just something that, in case something gets crazy, it'll help me stay safe. And most importantly is my coffee. If I don't have my coffee with me, you're not going to see me on the road. Driving around all day and you're sitting in your car, I could have an hour one direction, and it's important to not get bored. So sitting in my car, listening to podcasts, listening to, Crime Junkie is one of my favorites, Joe Rogan. There's a multitude of other podcasts that I really enjoy. So if I'm not doing that, I'm usually on the phone, taking calls from clients, talking to other servers, and kind of working them through the fires that arise throughout the day. Showed up to my favorite coffee shop, first stop of the day. I run into Java Dudes and gave me some coffee.
But something's different next to you. Just inside my soul is set on fire. But oh, I'm starting to feel tired.
Hope this is the address. I don't see any markings on the room.
Recording started.
Hello, Benton County Process Server. I just want to take a quick stop out here on the county and not only enjoy the beauty out here, but talk about the miles that we drive as process servers. On a typical year, I'll drive anywhere from 35 up to 50,000 miles in just 1 year. And keep in mind, that's just in my very local area. I don't travel as far as a lot of other servers do into other counties. I pretty much stick to 2-county area. And so it's a lot of wear and tear on your vehicle, which that's an expense that we incur, and we have to maintain our vehicles throughout the entire process. Yeah, so there's a lot of times that I'll get an address and my GPS will drop me in the middle of the street, and so then I have to determine, is it a good address, is it not?
Red correct, and he would say yes.
Pay attention. This is Draco security guard right here. This is YG. Black pants, red stripes, with a knife in his hand. Now, he's advancing forward. Now, the reason why, this angle is kind of awkward, but Draco security is focused on somebody else because they're advancing. That person, I think, is YG security guard. They're advancing. There's about 90 to 100 people over here somewhere advancing on those other people. So YG is advancing forward. People is beginning to run away. Now, the reason why this is important, you're going to find out shortly, okay? Draco security guard, YG. From that angle, that security guard had the best look at the dude in the black pants and the red stripes. So because he had the best look, he probably is the most qualified to identify who it was. He would say it was YG. Now, he would also identify what YG was doing when the fight that ultimately took Draco's life broke out.
Then tell him that eventually they parked their vehicles and everybody would gather around. And as they were walking to the gate, Draco turned around to go put something in his vehicle. He would tell him that he forgot what it was, but he believed that it was a bag. And he would say that as they were walking to the vehicle, he would notice that the 400 can was walking towards him. But he would say that Chieftain Heavily also went back to his own vehicle to put something inside of it. But he would say that him and Draco and Chieftain Heavily went different ways. He went with Draco, and then Chieftain Heavily went a separate way. But as the group regathered, Chieftain Heavily would tell him that there was an attempted robbery on his chain. And he would say that after that, Draco said, "What the F? Hell no," and immediately ran back towards the pink law. Draco security said that he tried to grab him by his shirt collar, but wasn't able to get him. They would then ask him if he followed Draco to the pink law. And he would say, "Yes, I immediately tried to grab him." They would then ask him, "Then what happened? Did an altercation ensue?" He would then tell them, "Yeah, but he still wanted to do his job by protecting Draco, and that he didn't want to grab him and fight with him, knowing that all the people were coming towards them." He would then say that the brawl broke out, and he would hit the first person coming towards them. And he would tell him that he also brought a knife in that night, but it was inside of Draco's Rolls Royce. They would then ask him how many people were they fighting, and he would say 20 to 25 people minimum. And they would ask him if he recognized anybody in that group of 25. And he would respond and say, "I only recognize one, YG." And they would ask him, so he was directly involved in the fight? And he would say yes, front and center. He would then say how Draco was standing by his side when he was fighting YG and YG's bodyguard. And he would say that YG produced a knife from his left hand. He would then say that when he seen that, he backed up and Draco was standing by his side the whole time. He would then say that more people became swarming and they would attempt to fight off while backing up. They would then ask him, "So you witnessed YG, who you recognized produced a knife from his sleeve, correct?" And he would respond and say yes. And he would say that he just saw the blade, he didn't see the handle, and that it was a silver blade, almost like a shank made in prison. He told them it was about 3 to 4 inches long, and he was slashing it at him. They would then ask him, did he witness any other knives in the melee? And he would say, yeah, there was a guy on the left of YG that had a knife also. And they would ask him to describe the knife, and he would say the same thing. And he would say you can tell they had a knife because nobody swings a punch like how they were doing in the video.
He identified YG with a knife, and he also said he was fighting off YG and his security guard. So the person who stabbed Draco the Ruler is not YG. because the security guard was tussling with YG and his bodyguard. And because he was tussling with YG and his bodyguard, who we claim had knives, somebody came from around him and stabbed Draco the Ruler. So we know YG didn't stab Draco the Ruler, but it doesn't matter. Because if we could prove that YG had a knife and YG was participating in that fight with a knife, and he called a hit on Draco the Ruler, YG is going to jail for the rest of his life. So can we prove that it was actually YG in that black pants and red stripes? Can we prove that? Well, here's the thing. We got the proof that was YG. We got the undoubtable proof that was YG. They asked him what YG was wearing, and he says the black pants with the red stripe down the middle. This is the pants. This is YG wearing the pants. Look at the comparison. These are the exact same pants that YG wore the night that Draco the Ruler brawl broke out. Now, if we pause right here and we look at YG advancing, that right there is the pants he's advancing on. Well, look at it. This is the exact same pants.
Stripe going down the side, and black shiny shoes. Black shiny jacket, black pants with a red stripe going down the side. Black shiny jacket, black pants with a red stripe going down the side. Black shiny jacket, black pants with a red stripe going down the side.
These dudes got to be the dumbest set of criminals I've ever seen in my life. Why would you allow yourself to get photographed in the pants that you wore the night of the murder? Sir, this is probably a bigger mistake, but certainly just as big as Munchie B admitting he passed the bottle of Draco's killer every day. This is terrible. Why would you allow yourself to get photographed in the pants you wore the night that Draco? What?
They then asked him what YG wearing, and you could tell him a black ski mask, black shiny jacket, black pants with a red stripe going down the side, and black shiny shoes. They would then ask, so the other guys were wearing red, correct? And he would say yes. And as you can see right here, watch this video of the situation. You can see the clothes that he's describing. Black ski mask.
Now, the reason why this footage is important, I'm about to show you guys where YG was and where Draco was.
Black shiny jacket. Black.
Let's rewind a little bit more. 1 second. Right here. This is Draco. This is Draco the Ruler. This is Draco the Ruler right here. This is Draco. This is Draco's security guard. He's exactly where he said he was. So they are advancing on Draco. Now, I was told this footage right here is like up to fight. You're gonna see YG walk into frame. So the security guard apparently starts tussling with YG and his security guard, and then YG, according to this dude, right, the Draco security guard, YG starts to swipe.
And the red stripe going down the side.
And we actually watch YG swipe in real life, so watch this.
So the red stripe going down.
You see?
The side.
You see the swipe?
Shoes, black ski mask, black shiny jacket, black ski mask, black pants with the red shirts, black shiny jacket, black pants.
You see?
Jacket, black pants.
You see the swipe?
Black shiny jacket, black pants with the red stripe going down the side, and black shiny shoes, black ski mask, black shiny jacket.
Hold on. Come on, bro. The same skin tone. Oh my God, come. It's the same skin tone. It's him. It's the same skin tone. Even without what we, even without this, even without
black
the footage.
The red stripe going down the side, and black shiny.
Okay. So with that, secondly.
Now we know who was in the red pants, the black pants with the red stripes. Now we know. Now, YG actually wore those pants after the murder, which is what makes this even dumber. Bro, you should have burned the clothes that you wore that night. Like, simply, you should have burned the clothes you wore that night. This is terrible. This is bad, man. Now, Draco the Ruler has some advice for YG. See, Draco the Ruler experienced a similar fate in the past, right? In his life. You see, Draco has some dudes around him. And because of their actions, he went down and he was considered a kingpin, right? The ruler,
you on the game or something?
They use his name against him. So here is Draco the Ruler, talking about California penal codes and really breaking down how the law works and why YG is absolutely. Now, this is not about YG, but this fits what's going on with YG currently. And I just think it was fitting for Draco the Ruler to explain it to YG instead of Poetic Flacco.
And on top of that, they were saying the Stink Team was a gang. Yeah. He was the leader.
I was the leader because of my name.
Right. And in California, if you're a gang member, you're charged for crimes that other members, people do. So whatever the Stink Team did in their own personal life can ultimately be on you. You're the quote-unquote leader of this violent gang.
Even if I wasn't there, but that would be penal code 182.5. Right. Criminal street gang conspiracy, which they don't even charge people with. But they decided to charge me with that.
I mean, how does it feel to be sitting there and all these charges are just piling up on you? And you're like, yo, I didn't do none of this shit. Yeah, and they're putting everything on me.
I mean, on top of that, they didn't have to do a lot with these rapper niggas and all this other shit that they didn't want to see me get out anyway. So, they would say that they wasn't doing police shit and weird shit, but then you go put some shit on the internet saying I did something that I didn't do, or every day you tweet some shit, and all the police doing is looking like, oh, we're going to, bring this in, or we're going to look at this. Oh, look at what you just said. They don't understand it. So I'm sitting here, it's a new room, or it's something new every time I go to court. We don't know if we're going to use this, but, it's right here. It's some shit off of Twitter or something that somebody said. But all the people tweeting stuff and fuck Draco and fuck this and whatever. Most of the blood niggas fuck blood and blood this and all this other stuff. Then the police, all they do is say, here goes another narrative. We're going to say he was beefing with this person. We're going to say he was beefing with this person. He created all these issues with all these people because people want to get on Twitter and say all this other shit.
In Draco's case, it was the blood that was telling on him. In y'all case, y'all told him yourselves, bro. Y'all did a whole lot of self-snitching and self-incrimination. Now, Draco has educated y'all on California penal codes and laws. Good luck. And we're far from finished, bro. We have so much. Bro, this was like an emergency video. Y'all didn't plan on dropping another video until I hear back from something that I'm waiting on. But this was just an emergency video, man. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this, okay? If you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this video right here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here, or here, or here, somewhere on my screen to find out how Kershaw Rock could be arrested for murder any day now. Like first degree murder. Like any day now. I'm gonna see you guys in this Kershaw Rock video. Out of here, folks. Peace.
Hendrick.
Good afternoon. My name is Stuart. I'm Ethan. I'm a certified technician. I'll be working on your vehicle today. Find that your electric car has 80% life. Low rates are right around 30% life. So
One Island is deemed an underground railroad and a pit stop for slaves? Whoa, this cannot be true. Y'all do not want to click off this video. We got so much to tackle right now. From Judge Mathis came out and said he think that's a bruise on the back of Nolan Wells' head. And guess what else we got, y'all? TMZ got a new name. They said TMZ new name is Tatum Z. And they got roasted by their comment section for sending the black guy to come talk to us and tell us that in that audio, we just heard a bunch of commotion. In that audio, that's not what we heard. We didn't hear Nolan's name in the audio.
The first person who died in this film is Rhodey. Not Duke. It's Rhodey. Rhodey is Duke's black campaign manager. The man hired to smooth Duke's racist images and make him presentable to voters. to translate that, to make him palatable.
I think the dolls at the YNs, because remember, the dolls came off the wall. And who was they being chaperoned by? The old lady rocking in the rocking chair. Yo, y'all do not want to miss this video. It's jam-packed. Let's get into it, y'all. Ships and Horn Islands recognized as Underground Railroad sites. Ocean Springs, Mississippi, Ship and Horn Islands, managed by Gulf Islands National Seashore, were accepted into the National Park Service's National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom program on September 29, 2022. The National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom is a federal program that commemorates the stories of the men and women who risked everything for freedom and those who helped them. It honors, preserves, and promotes the history of resistance to enslavement through escape and flight worldwide. It says, following the start of the Civil War, freedom seekers used small craft to navigate the waters of Mississippi Sound in hopes of finding liberation at the hands of U.S. forces by October 1861. The first recorded freedom seeker arrived on Ship Island and enlisted for service in the U.S. Navy. Wow. But tell me why I'm not surprised. And I'm going to tell y'all to go to Introvert Rockstar's channel. Amazing YouTuber. This is where I got this information from. So if y'all want an extensive deep dive of what's going on and the racism that's going on and why it's taking so long for us to get answers as to what happened to our brother Nolan Wells, y'all go ahead and go over to that channel. But let's get into these videos, y'all. For the people of Mississippi, TMZ, everybody, listen, y'all cannot gaslight the world. We were born at night. We wasn't born last night. Let's get it.
Enforcement. And so the forensic autopsy came back, and lo and behold, even though they're trying to downplay it, and I understand Ben Crump and NAACP and others don't want to try and jump to conclusion or step too far out, but the forensic autopsy showed that there was what they call discoloration. No, I call them bruises. In the
what? This is a judge.
No, I call them bruises in the back of the head, appearing that someone has had their hand pressed at the back of their head, at the back of Nolan's head. That's concerning. And so hopefully we'll get some more insight on that. I'm not sure. It seems like there's another opportunity for them to investigate something physiological. I'm just not sure, because as far as I knew, the forensic autopsy is as far as you go. But we'll see. But yeah, that's what causes real concern. And then you've had different stories coming out from the teenagers. One of the young men himself spoke out about it, claiming they had begged Nolan to get on the boat, and that he wouldn't. Then there's the woman that he's supposed to have stayed back with, I think her name Katie or something. Well, he was supposed to have stayed back with Katie. That was their story. However, Katie's friend says that Katie she saw him only in passing on the island, didn't stay with him, and Katie isn't saying anything at all. So there's a lot of moving parts here, and I'm just hoping it's not one of those, quite frankly, and if his friends didn't have anything to do with it and they truly left him behind, etc., etc., he has discoloration, bruises on the back of his neck. Something happened. And quite frankly, this is Mississippi, where in 1955, which sparked the civil rights movement, Emmett Till was killed for so-called whistling at a white woman. And now we're hearing Nolan Wells stayed back to be with a white woman, and he turns up dead. with boots was behind his neck.
There you go. Emmett Till all over again. No, his name isn't in Emmett Till. It wasn't the same exact situation for the simple-minded people. It's the optics of it. Yes, spiritually, it's the same damn thing. History is repeating itself. And y'all gonna see, they are sending black people out to try to explain to black people, y'all calm down. It's just a bunch of commotion in that audio call. It's not what y'all think. Like, we stupid. Listen to this right here, y'all.
Were Nolan Wells' friends talking about him and talking about him possibly being dead while they were on their way back to the mainland from Horn Island? This is all because of some audio that we got from officials down in Mississippi. This audio is a call that's being made from the boat that Nolan's friends were on. So after they're on Horn Island on July 4th, at the end of the day, about 4:30, they decide they're heading back to the mainland. And the owner of that boat, or the grandson of the owner who's driving the boat, realizes that they are taking on water. The bilge pump isn't working, so he places a call to a tow company called Sea-Tow. And while he's on that call, there is a lot of commotion going on. And what people think is that in the background of that call, you can hear someone say, "Is he dead? Nolan." Oh my God. It's really hard to make out. This is what it sounds like.
So now y'all want to play the beginning of it before the dispatch even picked up. Now all of a sudden y'all want to play the beginning of it. Because at first, I think it was TMZ who broke the audio off. They didn't have the beginning playing at first. Now all of a sudden y'all want to come back and bring the beginning of it out.
Now, there are other parts of the audio where people think they hear the words "check his chest" or
listen to the words people think they hear. This is what y'all think y'all hear. Even though it's thousands of people saying the same damn thing. No, y'all calm down. That's not what you listen. You trust me. I'm TMZ. This is what he's saying. I'm with the big boys right here. I got the people down in Mississippi on one phone call. Understand, TMZ is not in Mississippi, y'all.
Wake up. One thing you can definitely hear clearly is Mama sleep. The guy gotta go to work. The tow company says, "Shut the bleep up." No. Now he could have been yelling at some people. He does tell the dispatcher that there are about 7 people on board. Don't see you all of them under the age of 20, under 21. He says. Now, here's what doesn't make sense. If they really were, and again, that audio is very difficult to make out. I mean, you can definitely hear, "Oh my God." The Nolan and Izzy dead part is up to interpretation. What doesn't make sense is why would they, if they had something, if there had been foul play and something happened to Nolan or someone did something to Nolan on that boat, why would they be talking about it loudly while he's on the phone to a tow company? Just doesn't add up.
That don't add up. Why would he be talking like that on the tow company even though he was on the phone call with the tow company and ignoring the hell out the lady because obviously there was something else going on distracting the hell out of him. To him, it don't make no sense. Check it out, y'all.
People spoke to Ocean Springs, Mississippi, say that whole conversation here in the background is just chaos as these young, I wouldn't say kids, but these young men were trying to get back to the shore and the boats.
I spoke to the great people of Mississippi. What they told me is that it's just a bunch of kids. Not kids. They're just a bunch of chaos in the background. It's not. Everybody calm down. The audio is not what it appears to be.
Taking on water. They're all trying to figure out what to do. Are they going to have to get off the boat? That's what all that chaos is. What we're told by people connected.
That's what all the chaos is. That's what we're told by all these people. Well, which one is it? Is it facts or is it what you're being told, Ninja? Which one is it? I just want people to understand. They are professionals at twisting shit up. This is what they do. He said, "This is what is it facts or is it what the people of Mississippi told you?" Listen.
What all that chaos is.
Play your phone.
That's what all that chaos is.
That's what all that chaos is. First, you make a statement saying that it's law. That's what that chaos is. This is what it is. What the people of Mississippi had told me.
Told by people connected to the kids who are on that boat. The other thing is, this is after 4:30. We've been told that there is evidence that, or the police have testimony of people.
Did it again. Did it again. We are told that there is evidence. You know, evidence meaning that we know something. We know this is law. We have evidence. Well, really not evidence. We were told that he did it again. I want y'all to understand what they do. This is what they're professionals at. This is what they're professionals at. Tricking, doing word puzzles and shit. This is what they do. Watch. Listen, he did it again.
There is evidence that the police had testimony of people that know.
There is evidence. Well, the people got testimony. Testimony and evidence is two totally different things. Two totally different things. You either got evidence or you got testimony. Evidence is not testimony. Stop playing.
Evidence that the police had. We have been told that there is.
I told you she was asleep. I told you she had to go to work. Come here.
That no
Come here.
Still on the island.
Look who's here.
You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
We're here for this roasting session you got in your comment section, Ninja, and how y'all losing credibility with the people. So somebody said you trying to downplay the situation. Somebody said you can't tell us what we heard, Ninja. What are you talking about? Look. TMZ, yes, again, exposed for who and what they really are. Look, it said, this is where I got that from. Look, it said, okay, Tatum Z. Okay, Tatum Z. Oh, so now you have the full audio. Because last week, you only played the part where he appeared very calm and no commotion. The next one say, TMZ, we get it. Y'all don't want to get sued, LMAO. But it's obvious we all heard Nolan is unalive. Yes, everyone. You didn't hear what you just heard. Nothing to see here. Really, TMZ? This is what we doing? I wouldn't expect nothing less. Every dog has his day, and God is the judge y'all will have to answer to. Now, for my people, get up in here. Do y'all remember the movie Tales from the Hood? Well, there was a segment in Tales from the Hood that scared the shit out of everybody. It was the segment with the dogs. And do y'all remember what happened in that whole thing? And the racism that's taking place? And the guy, and the two guys, one of the guys was a raccoon. Do y'all remember? Check this out, y'all.
The first person to die in this film was Brody. I do. It's Brody. Brody is Duke's black campaign manager. The man hired to some of Duke's racist images and make him presentable to voters, to translate him, to make him palatable.
But your job is $10,000 and you think that you can change all that. So, all right.
I got my one cut out to you, don't
Remember what Hurston said, all folk and kinfolk. The film doesn't editorialize about Brody's choice, it doesn't give him a speech or a confession, it just sequences him first. He trips on one of the dolls inside the house and he's gone, before Duke has faced a single consequence. It seems to be an accident where he just missed his footing. It's actually not until in watching a replay of his fall does Duke see that a doll was present in the death of Brody. The film Reckoning is real and earned. I've watched that sequence more times than I can count, and it lands every single time. Brody decides to ignore the history and his joke, and pays a price. Duke decides to blatantly ignore the dolls. Duke isn't ignorant of the history. He's chosen it deliberately. It's almost his political agenda.
you know, they had to a certain side of the trauma. Innocent.
Pays the price. The dolls are just the accounting. But here's where the Hurston question gets harder. Brody is kinfolk who wasn't kinfolk. That part is clear. He chose proximity to power, and the house elected him first.
I got my one cut out to you, don't
But Duke is not kinfolk at all, and the house collected him as well, which suggests that this film is adding an extra layer to what Hurston is saying. It's saying that house doesn't sort by skin. It sorts by the choices you make. If you knew the truth and made the decision anyway.
I hope y'all enjoyed that right there because who I think the dolls is, listen, remember, if you know the movie, if you haven't watched the movie and you're still young, go watch Tales from the Hood, watch that, and start putting things together. I think the dolls today is the YNs, and that's what they afraid of. I'm telling you, I think the dolls is the YNs because remember, the dolls came off the wall. And who was they being chaperoned by? The old lady rocking in the rocking chair. You could tell a YN something. A cop could tell a YN something. Anybody could tell a YN something. They ain't gonna listen. But when that grandma comes, you best believe that YN gonna listen. That YN gonna listen when that grandma come. I'm telling you, bro. But that's what they're afraid of, bro. They think that it's gonna come back and just be all over the damn place. They're trying to do damage control, y'all. But people are waking up, and God is on our side. Now is the time you do not want to be on the wrong side of the fence. I don't give a damn how much money you're being offered. You do not want to be on the wrong side of the fence right now, bro. Now is the time you do not want to be on the wrong side of the fence. Y'all get in the comment section. Y'all make sure y'all like this video. Make sure y'all subscribe. Big Kish signing out. Going, y'all.
To remind you that 60% of sales on Amazon come from independent sellers, Jess from Planetary Design will pour 60 cups of coffee for 60 adventurers.
Shoot lost count.
Shop small business on Amazon.
A great deal or more safety? Why choose? Mazda has been awarded more 2026 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than any other brand as of June 2026, and has been named Consumer Reports' safest new car brand. Right now, you can drive one home for less at the More to Move You sales event. Mazda, more for you.
Take advantage of this exceptional offer during the More to Move You sales event.
lot of people are having right now, because as we see more and more companies, brands jump into the space, we're seeing a lot more variance in pricing of genetics, whether tested or untested, feminized or regular, and it seems like it's a smorgasbord. It's a smorgasbord of prices out there, and I think it's a worthy conversation as to really how did we get here. Yeah, great conversation.
Yeah, I remember back in the day where it seemed like not too long ago, you get a 10-pack for $100 or less. Those were regular seeds. Now we've seen people charge $300, $400, $500, $1,000 for a 10-pack of regular seed. And it's like, what is different about what you're selling versus all the other genetics on the market? Does it really work? So much more money for those for that 10-pack versus a 10-pack that has an average price of $100 per. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough to know. Like, is it really the breeder that's doing it? Is it really something special, or is it just like just somebody who's popular posting things on social media and they're like, oh, they can charge high prices because of that?
You got to think, dude. Like back years ago, it was $100, right? But then I also had to pay for the insurance, and I also had to get a tiny fucking medium variety of cup. By the end of it, my order was $175 sometimes, dude. And if I'm getting it from the UK, I'm hoping I get it in 3 weeks to a month, if not longer. So it's like, and I get in a weird sketch container that I don't even realize that's what it is, like a DVD or like a stuffy and things like that. I'm like, okay, cool. But the probability of really getting what you're getting.
Vanguard gutters. One question that we get a lot is, do you have any color options that are going to look great on my house? We have over 30 colors that we keep in stock, and we have the ability to order more colors if we don't have something like for anything neutral. We always keep in stock. We don't have hot pink or purple, but I'm sure I can get it if needed. Thanks for tuning in with me today. Give us a call today with 3S.
It was rare. You get a bag, like I know right here, a baggie with a label on it. It's just empty bag. Obviously, there's nothing in it. It would be falling seeds anyways, because that's all I'm into. But this is what you get. So do I know this is from the breeder? Do I know this is legit? Because a lot of times that was our only opportunity to get it from the back. I remember the very first time I ever got seeds, and I'm not that old, despite the grays in my beard. But the very first time I got it was from the back of a high fantasy magazine. I got Baked Blood, which was the salvia, and I got seeds. And the salvia was not fun. Some people enjoyed it, didn't like it, but the seeds were crazy, man. It was the first time I had not flat, compressed white seeds, because I was getting brick back then. And I paid, I think it was like $150 then. And that was a lot for people. I was young, I was 14. 13, I was really young, so it's like it was quite a bit of money for me. So to get to that point where that was the price when I was a child, where now there's prices that are higher than that, I see this with inflation. This is what it is. This is just the market. This is things get more expensive. Am I crazy, or do you think there's something more to it?
Well, I think it really comes down to where you're looking, because we know that there are a number of breeders or brands that are still offering next to nothing for their genetics. I want to kind of dance around this. I'll be honest with people watching. I'm trying to dance around this conversation. We're trying very hard. But yeah, that's one opinion. I'm just trying to be very specific with the words we use, because it's very tough to have a conversation without getting flagged by YouTube. But the point I want to say is, like, yeah, as you mentioned, the authentic part. We know people like Todd McCormick, shout out to Mr. Westport. These are guys that John here gives their genetics to that. And so it's not that everyone has gone this direction. But then you look at some other genetics, untested, unregulated, or untested and regular, it's like the price is a little absurd in terms of how much is being paid. So it's not all of them. It's not all of them. It's just where are you looking? And as Chris kind of mentioned earlier, it's like, is it what is the cost? Are these genetics any better, or is there anything behind it that makes them more or less? Look at the Toad Venom recently. Toad Venom is a prime example of a run-of-the-mill genetic that has garnered an entire amount of hype. Run-of-the-mill meaning it's like everything. Sure. But I think run-of-the-mill, like I think most weed is good. I don't think most weed is horrible. I think most weed is good. And so the Toad Venom was good. So it was good. It was good. There was nothing against that. And so it's like it was run-of-the-mill, and I think just regular kind of weed. That's all I'm trying to say. But hype and the price, unless you actually get it from the source, believe it or not, it's very cheap if you get it from the distributor itself. But yeah, it was hype. It's the internet. It's the hype, and so I don't think it's any different than anything.
That's trying to answer that question is really what actually determines the price of genetics, and it could be various things. And I understand, if there is a limited drop or if something's brand new, and warp over to a Chili OG when that was first released back in 2023. Sure, it was that price was at an all-time high. It was the first release I had ever done. It was $10 a seed for regular, right? So it's like, then over the years, the price kind of drops, right? And it goes down, and it's less exclusive, and so on and so forth. So I understand that people have kind of limited releases or that something's brand new, but how high should you really be charging? Because I personally think that if you're charging, $20+ for one seed, for a regular seed, I think that's a little outrageous in my opinion.
I agree, and I think when you mentioned how your all-time high is $10, that's the base. These are the ceiling I feel for regular, the ceiling. Now, if it's these exclusive drops, I did say inflation, I think that's a part of it. Obviously, people got the purebred, but now that I've done enough breeding projects for myself at home, and I'm seeing it as a pen versus the outdoor, growing outdoor, that shit better be 8 or genetic pricing. But 50 back, there's no way. It's crazy work. But if you've got something that you have in your small pen that you sacrifice your growth for, I could see $1.50, $15 a piece. I could see that being, and that's my ceiling, I feel. But I feel $10 is generous. Unless you have a big abundance of those seeds, it's supply and demand. So anything less than that, because you have quite a bit, like I said, I'm going to get rid of them, and I can get rid of them at this rate. You don't have a middleman like a bank that you can deal with, because if these breeders are dealing with, you bank it all, the cost is crazy for them. The whole situation changes. Wholesale ruins everything for them. They want pennies of the dollar. And it makes it so the person who's really trying to have a business can't be sustainable unless you have a deal. So there's double-edged sword of the businessman versus the customer, the consumer, where you don't want to squander, opportunities. We also don't want to take advantage of them in a negative way. I think that we're seeing a lot more taking advantage because of hype and because influencers do. When consumers and owners are hyping up different brands, like Ridgeline is one, for example. I'll say names. I'll call it what it is. Ridgeline has got a ton of hype because they put a ton of heat out. That's why when you see Lance, and I think Lance is fired, but I don't like it. But it's fire. You know what I'm saying? I can't deny. It just runs heat to me. I'm not a big run fan. But you can't deny when they do the hit after hit. Why would you not think the next wouldn't be another hit? And then if there's a very limited amount, why would you not want to get in there and get it? Just like anything, collector, or if you're going to sell it, you're going to make money off of it, why would that person not think, well, you made my profit too? I think there's a double-sided thing. But there needs to be a fair point for people.
I also understand, feminized, now that's more money, right? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. In plants, it's going to be female, you're going to get butt out of it, right? Versus with the regular, there's that risk where 50% of them could be males. You could even get higher than that. We planted a 10-pack before and we got 2 or 3 females. And it's like, geez, what the heck? They spent so much money on this and only got a few females. So, paying more for that guarantee, totally understand that.
And that's what you determine price on. I think that's a great point. How you determine price. The guarantee, an auto flower is we don't autos. I don't. not a big fan of autos, but you can't deny it's a guaranteed plan that's going to get what you're paying for in a cent.
I won't even go that far.
No.
I've done autos. I've done autos this high, and it sprouted this big. You got an 8 off it maybe, so that didn't work hard. But I do want to say that
We're literally sleeping on the fact that you can take voice memo bars like this. Woke up this morning, said, let's go get it, no more comparison. Gave all my shame up to G.O.D. You can't embarrass this. And plug it into Suno and get this.
anything can happen to any plant at any time. So, there's the reality of disease happens, pests happen, relationships happen, money happens, moving happens, all these kind of things. So there's any multitude of reasons why you can lose some genetics and why it might not work out for you. And it is a gamble at some level. That's fair. I think it's pretty fair case. My thought is, though, it's like, it has been $10 for a bean for a long time. And for as long as I can remember, and I've been growing for 15 plus years, I don't even know. I don't know what the numbers are. I think and it's like, it's $10 then. And is it fair to say that, and I'm sure it was $10 before that, too, for a long time, right? And it's like, is it fair to say, though, that genetics in the last 15, 20 years have become something different than what they were 20 years ago? Because I would argue, yeah. Today, I would argue that there's more science that's involved. You have people, now, not to take any kind of reign away from anyone else, you have people that ended up going to school to do this. And if they didn't go to school, you've got those that worked in the draft for years, and they've got years of experience. That's worth something. And there's the crosses that go into this. And so there's I feel like the game today has stepped up slightly. Feminized being part of that equation. You're not getting white seeds from a brick anymore, as Rob mentioned. So it's like, I would argue that inflation is a very valuable argument for the price of genetics. Should it still be $10 a bean? I think that's the conversation. And I think some people believe that their product and what they're offering is better and arguably could be better than what $10 has to offer. And so, really, what is the cap is really the question.
This FTS clip was brought to you by AC Infinity, leaders in garden innovation. Discount code PISTACHIO15 at checkout to save some money in your order.
From the Stash Podcast.